The contract was a trap. Linda just didn't know it yet. $200,000 to carry a baby for 9 months. A desperate offer for a desperate woman whose brother was dying of heart failure. Sophia Jerry seemed kind, polished, a little cold. But rich people were like that. Her husband Martin appeared once blurry video call. Face obscured, voice muffled, red flag hash on. The pregnancy was lonely. Minimal support. Sophia's visits are clinical, detached. Red flag hash 2. The birth happened alone. No family, no husband, just Linda, a baby, and a woman who took the newborn after exactly 2 minutes. Red flag hash 3. The money never came. The couple disappeared. Linda's baby was gone. The police showed her the contract. You relinquished all parental rights. This is civil. We can't help. Her brother's surgery deadline? 72 hours. Her bank account? $12. Her options? None. Until a private investigator found the husband in the photos. Martin Jerry. Real. Alive. A Korean mafia billionaire who had no idea his identity had been stolen, his DNA weaponized, his genetic material used to create a child without his consent, the woman who orchestrated everything, his obsessive ex-wife who'd been stalking him for 3 years. Linda stormed his office, threw the contract at him, screamed that he'd stolen her baby. His response? I didn't know, but now I do, and we're getting our son back. What followed was a race against time. Track down Sophia, rescue the baby, survive a confrontation with a woman who'd planned this for over a year. And somewhere in the chaos between rage and desperation, between 2 victims of the same crime, Linda and Martin discovered something neither expected. That stolen babies can create found families. That enemies can become lovers. That the worst betrayal can lead to the greatest love. Because sometimes you don't choose your family. Sometimes your family chooses you, even if it starts with a crime. Before we continue, if you want to know how a surrogacy scam turned into a rescue mission, how a mafia billionaire and a desperate woman became unlikely allies, and why a stolen baby became the beginning of the most unexpected love story ever told, smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications because this thriller will leave you breathless. 3 months before everything fell apart, Linda Dalton sat in a hospital room watching her little brother die. The surgery cost $280,000. The doctor had said, voice clinical, eyes sympathetic. Without it, Isaiah has maybe 6 months. With it, his survival rate is 90%. Insurance won't cover it. His condition is considered pre-existing. They've denied the claim. I'm sorry. Linda was sorry too. Sorry she'd raised Isaiah alone since their mother died. Sorry she was working 2 jobs and barely making rent. Sorry that loving someone with your whole heart couldn't pay medical bills. She'd tried everything. GoFundMe that raised $3,000. Loans she didn't qualify for. Charity programs with 2-year waiting lists Isaiah didn't have. She was out of options, out of time, out of hope. Then came the ad. Surrogate mother needed. Healthy woman, 21 to 35. Willing to carry a child for a loving couple. $200,000 compensation. Confidential arrangement. Contact Sophia Friesen for details. Linda stared at that number for 3 days before calling. Because $200,000 would save Isaiah. Would give him the surgery. The life. The future. All it would cost Linda was 9 months and a baby she'd never get to keep. The meeting happened in an expensive hotel suite. Sophia Friesen was beautiful in a cold, perfect way designer clothes. Flawless makeup. Smile that never reached her eyes. Thank you for coming, Linda. May I call you Linda? Sure, I'll be direct. My husband and I have been trying to conceive for years. Multiple miscarriages. The emotional toll has been... She paused. Manufactured tears. Devastating. We want a child desperately, and we're willing to pay generously for someone to help us. $200,000. Plus all medical expenses, prenatal care, delivery. Everything covered. You'll want nothing during the pregnancy. It sounded too good to be true. Because it was. Can I meet your husband? Something flickered across Sophia's face. He's traveling. Business. But I have photos. She showed Linda pictures of a handsome Korean man. Blurry. always at a distance, never quite clear. He's camera shy, Sophia explained. But he's excited about this, we both are. Linda should have walked away, should have listened to every instinct screaming this was wrong. But Isaiah had 4 months, maybe less. She signed the contract. Pregnancy was lonely. Sophia provided a small apartment, paid for doctor visits, sent money for food and expenses. But she was distant, appearing every few weeks with measuring tape and cold efficiency. How are you feeling? Tired. Nauseous. Normal pregnancy stuff. Good. The baby is healthy? Yes. Excellent. That was it. No warmth, no excitement, just clinical assessment. Linda tried to meet Martin once more, the supposed father. Sophia arranged a video call. The connection was bad. His face pixelated, voice distorted. "Thank you for doing this," he'd said. "We're very grateful. I'd like to meet in person. My schedule is very demanding, but we appreciate your sacrifice." The call ended abruptly. Red flags everywhere. But Linda was 6 months pregnant now. Too late to back out. Too invested in the money that would save Isaiah. So she pushed down her doubts. Talked to the baby growing inside her. Made peace with the choice she'd made. Then came the delivery. Labor started at 2 a.m. Linda called Sophia. Got voicemail. Called again. Nothing. She took herself to the hospital, terrified and alone, and delivered a beautiful baby boy after 18 hours of excruciating labor. "He's perfect," the nurse said. 8 pounds, 2 ounces, completely healthy. They placed him on Linda's chest. She looked down at this tiny human she'd carried for 9 months, and her heart shattered. Because she loved him. Instantly. Completely. Impossibly. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry I can't keep you." She got exactly 2 minutes before Sophia appeared. No longer polished. Wild-eyed. Frantic. "Give him to me. I just need a moment. Now." Sophia grabbed the baby. Linda tried to hold on. Nurses intervened. "Ma'am, you signed a surrogacy agreement. You need to let go. Please, just let me say goodbye properly. You need to let go." They pulled her baby away. Sophia disappeared with him before Linda even got his hospital bracelet. Linda was discharged 8 hours later. No baby. No money. Just discharge papers and a crushing emptiness. She called Sophia. Disconnected number. She called the number from the contract. No longer in service. She went to the address listed. Abandoned office building. Panic set in. She went to the police. Brought the contract. Explained everything. Detective Rachel Brooks looked at the paperwork with sympathy and finality. "Miss Dalton, according to this contract, you willingly relinquished all parental rights. This is a civil matter, not criminal. They stole my baby. You signed a legal document agreeing to give them the baby. That's not theft. That's a surrogacy arrangement. But they didn't pay me. They disappeared. That's breach of contract. You need a lawyer, not police. I can't afford a lawyer. I can barely afford food." Detective Brooks softened. "I'm sorry. I truly am. But unless you can prove criminal activity, fraud, kidnapping, identity theft, there's nothing we can do. The contract, even if you weren't paid, is still binding." Linda walked out of that police station and collapsed on the curb. Her baby was gone. Isaiah's surgery was in 3 days. And she had nothing. She'd sold her body, her baby, her soul, and got nothing in return. Quick pause. Can we just acknowledge how horrifying this is? Linda just gave birth and had her baby stolen with zero legal recourse. If you're already invested in her getting justice, hit that like button and subscribe because the plot is about to get wild. She called Isaiah from outside the police station. "Lynn, what's wrong?" "Nothing. Everything's fine." "You're lying. I can hear it." "Isaiah." Her voice broke. "I'm so sorry. I tried. I really tried." "What happened?" She told him everything. The surrogacy, the baby, the theft, the police. Isaiah was silent for a long moment. "Lynn, you did that for me? You went through all of that? I'd do anything for you. I don't want you sacrificing yourself for me." "Too late. I already did. And now I have nothing to show for it except She couldn't finish. We'll figure something out. Together. But there was nothing to figure out. No money. No options. No time. 3 days later, in desperation, Linda used her last $500 to hire David Ortega, a private investigator who worked out of a strip mall office and advertised on bus stops. "I need to find someone," she said. "A couple who hired me as a surrogate and then disappeared with my baby." David looked at the contract. "This is a mess. Probably fake names, fake addresses. Can you help me or not?" "I can try. No promises. And I need payment up front." She gave him everything she had. 5 days later, David called. "You need to sit down for this." "Just tell me." "The husband, Martin Jerry. He's real." "What?" "I ran reverse image searches on the photos. He's not just real, he's a billionaire, Korean-American, runs a tech empire." And David paused. "He has ties to organized crime, laundering operations, protection rackets. He's Mafia Linda. Very dangerous mafia." Linda's blood ran cold. "What about his wife?" "That's where it gets weird. He doesn't have a wife. He's been divorced for 3 years. From a woman named Sophia Frizen." "Wait, that's the woman who hired me." "Exactly. Which means Sophia used her ex-husband's photos, his identity, probably his genetic material without his knowledge, to create this baby. And Martin Jerry, he has no idea any of this happened." Linda processed this. "So, the baby is biologically his and yours, but he was created through fraud and deception. Sophia orchestrated everything. Where is she?" "I don't know yet. But I know where Martin Jerry is. His company headquarters. Downtown." Linda stood. "Give me the address." "Linda, this guy is dangerous. You can't just..." "Watch me." Martin Jerry's office building was glass and steel and intimidating. Linda walked through the lobby in her discount store clothes, fresh from childbirth, running on rage and heartbreak. Security stopped her immediately. "Ma'am, do you have an appointment?" "I need to see Martin Jerry." "Mr. Jerry doesn't take walk-ins. He'll want to see me. I'm the mother of his child." That got their attention. 10 minutes later, Linda was escorted to the top floor, an office that cost more than her entire neighborhood. Martin Jerry stood at the window. Tall. Handsome. Exactly like the blurry photos, but sharper, colder, more real. He turned. "You have 60 seconds before I have you removed." Linda threw the contract at him. "Your wife hired me to be a surrogate. Except she's not your wife anymore, is she? She's your ex. And she stole your identity, your photos, probably your genetic material, and used me to have your baby without your knowledge. So yeah, we need to talk." Martin went very still. "What did you say?" "Your ex-wife Sophia orchestrated an entire surrogacy fraud. She hired me, got me pregnant, probably using stolen material from you, took the baby when I delivered, and disappeared. I have the contract, the medical records, everything. And that baby? He's yours. Biologically yours. Created without your consent." Martin took the contract. "Read it." His expression went from skeptical to furious. "This is impossible. Look at the dates. Look at the signatures. Look at the photos she used. That's you, isn't it? That's me. Then you were part of a conspiracy you didn't know about. Congratulations, you're a father." Martin called his head of security immediately. "James, get in here. Now. And pull every file we have on Sophia." James Kwan arrived within minutes. Listened to the story. Looked at Linda with something between sympathy and suspicion. "Mr. Jerry, this woman could be lying." "She's not lying. Look at the contract. Those are my photos, my medical records. This is Sophia's signature. Sophia's been unstable since the divorce. Unstable enough to steal my DNA and create a child? Apparently yes." Martin turned to Linda. "Where's the baby now?" "I don't know. She took him from the hospital. I've been searching for 3 weeks. Why come to me?" "Because you're his father, and you have resources I don't have. And because if you're half as powerful as my investigator says, you can find them when I can't." "What do you want?" "My baby back. That's it. And then what? You raise my biological son alone? What else am I supposed to do? Let Sophia keep him, the woman who orchestrated all of this?" Martine studied her for a long moment. You carried him for 9 months? Yes. Did you know I was being used without consent? No, I thought you were part of the arrangement. I thought, Linda's voice cracked. I thought I was helping a couple who couldn't have children. Instead, I was part of a crime. Something shifted in Martin's expression. You were victimized too. Yeah, so can you help me or not? I can, but Miss Dalton Linda, if we find this child, I'm not just walking away. He's my son. I will be part of his life. Right now, I just want him safe. We'll figure out the rest later. Deal. Martin's resources were terrifying and impressive. Within hours, he'd assembled a team. James for security. David, the investigator now on Martin's payroll. Detective Brooks, who'd been convinced to reopen the case. And lawyers preparing custody arguments. Sophia has been stalking me for 3 years, Martin explained in his war room. Restraining orders, security footage, psychiatric evaluations that showed obsessive behavior. Why didn't you have her arrested? Linda asked. She's smart, never crosses legal lines, just hovers at the edge, watching, waiting. He pulled up photos of Sophia outside his building, at his gym, following his car. I thought she'd moved on. Clearly I was wrong. She created a baby, your baby, using me. How did she even get your genetic material? I donated to a fertility clinic years ago, before the divorce. She must have accessed those records, bribed someone, stolen samples. It's possible. That's insane. That's Sophia. The investigation moved quickly. James traced financial records. Sophia had been renting a property under a shell company. Remote. Isolated. Perfect for hiding. She's been planning this for over a year, James reported. Rented the house 18 months ago. Set up the surrogacy arrangement 12 months ago. Every detail calculated. Where's the house? Martin demanded. 2 hours north, middle of nowhere. Then that's where we're going. Linda insisted on coming despite protests. You just gave birth. You need rest. That's my baby. I'm not sitting here while you rescue him. Linda, this could be dangerous. I don't care. I'm coming. Martin looked at her, this woman who'd been through hell and refused to break, and nodded. Fine, but you follow James's lead. No heroics. I just want my son back. Our son. He's ours now. Both of us. The possessive way he said it should have scared Linda. Instead, it felt like partnership. Okay, real talk. Who else is stressed about this rescue mission? Like we know something's going to go wrong, but we can't look away. Hit subscribe if you're nervous for Linda and that baby, because this next part is intense. They arrived at the property at dawn, a small house. Isolated. Curtains drawn. One car in the driveway. Detective Brooks coordinated with local police. We need a warrant before we can enter. That'll take hours, Linda protested. It's the law. My baby is in there. Miss Dalton, I understand. But we have to follow procedure. Martin pulled Detective Brooks aside, spoke quietly. Money changed hands, not a bribe, but consulting fees that expedited paperwork. Warrant will be here in 20 minutes, Martin said when he returned. How did you? I have resources. Use them. 20 minutes felt like 20 hours. Linda paced, stared at the house, imagined her baby inside, crying, scared, alone with a woman who'd stolen him. She couldn't wait anymore. While everyone was distracted with strategy, Linda ran, through the gate, up the driveway, to the front door. Linda, James shouted. Get back here. But Linda was already kicking the door. Once, twice, it burst open. She ran inside. The house was a nightmare. Photos of Martin everywhere. On walls, tables, a shrine, obsessive documentation of his life. And in the corner ultrasound photos of Linda's pregnancy. Her medical records, everything. Sophia had been watching both of them. Linda heard crying. Upstairs. She ran, body screaming in pain, fresh from childbirth but fueled by maternal desperation, burst into a bedroom, and found her baby. He was in a crib, crying, screaming, red-faced and inconsolable. Sophia stood nearby, frantic. He won't stop. He won't eat. I've tried everything. Because he needs me, Linda shouted. She pushed past Sophia, picked up her son, and he stopped crying instantly. Recognized her, knew her, needed her. Linda held him close, sobbing. I've got you. I'm here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sophia lunged. Give him back. He's mine. I carried him. You didn't carry him. I did. I planned him. I created him. He's Martin's and mine. He's not yours. He never was. Martin appeared in the doorway, James and police behind him. Sophia. It's over. Sophia spun. Martin, you came. I knew you would. Look, our baby. The family we always wanted. That baby isn't ours. You stole my genetic material. You used this woman without my consent. You committed fraud, kidnapping, and God knows what else. I did it for us. There is no us. There hasn't been for 3 years. But the baby is mine and Linda's. You have no legal claim. Sophia's face crumbled. I just wanted you to love me again. This isn't love, Sophia. This is obsession. And it's over. Police arrested Sophia. Gently, she was clearly having a mental break. She'll need psychiatric evaluation, Detective Brooks said. Probably hospitalization rather than prison. I don't care where she goes as long as she's away from my child, Linda said, still holding the baby. Martin approached. May I? Linda hesitated, then passed the baby to him. Martin held his son for the first time, stared down at this tiny human who was biologically his, but created without his knowledge. Hello, he whispered. I'm your father, and I'm so sorry for how you came into this world. But I promise you'll never doubt you're wanted. The baby cooed, reached for Martin's face, and something in the hardened billionaire's expression softened completely. The hospital confirmed everything via DNA tests. The baby, whom they finally named Elijah, was biologically Martin's and Linda's, created through stolen genetic material and surrogacy fraud. Custody became complicated. Linda had carried him, birthed him, bonded with him. Martin was the biological father and had resources to provide. Sophia had no legal standing. The judge's ruling was unprecedented. Joint custody, shared parenting, both names on the birth certificate. This child has 2 parents who love him and want him. That's more than many children have. Work together. For his sake. Linda moved into one of Martin's properties, not the main house, but a guest house on the estate. Close enough for co-parenting. Far enough for independence. You don't have to accept this, Martin said. I can arrange other housing. This is practical. Elijah needs both of us. This makes sense. And what about you? What do you need? I need my brother to get his surgery. Can you still? Already handled. Isaiah's surgery is scheduled for next week. Best cardiac surgeon in the country. All expenses covered. Linda's eyes filled with tears. Why are you doing all this? Because you were victimized by my ex-wife. Because you carried my child when you didn't have to. Because he stopped. Because it's the right thing to do. Isaiah's surgery was successful. Linda sat in the waiting room, Elijah sleeping in her arms, Martin beside her. He's going to be okay, the doctor announced. Complete success. Recovery will take time, but he'll live a normal, healthy life. Linda sobbed with relief. Martin's arm went around her shoulders. Awkward. Unpracticed. But genuine. Your brother will be fine. Your son is safe. You're safe. It's over. Is it? Linda looked at him. What happens now? We just co-parent? Pretend this whole nightmare didn't happen? We co-parent. We heal. We build something normal for Elijah. Nothing about this is normal. Then we build something better than normal. 6 months later, Linda's life was unrecognizable. She'd finished her nursing degree, Martin paid tuition. She worked at a hospital 3 days a week. Spent 4 days with Elijah. Had a life that felt stable, safe, real. Martin was a devoted father, surprising everyone, including himself. The feared mafia billionaire did midnight feedings, changed diapers, read bored books in terrible dramatic voices that made Elijah giggle. You're good at this, Linda observed one evening, watching him with their son. I didn't expect to be. Fatherhood wasn't something I planned. None of this was planned. No. But I can't imagine it differently now. He looked at her. Can you? Linda thought about that. 6 months ago, she'd been desperate, broken, alone. Now she had her brother healthy, her son safe, and a partner, because that's what Martin had become, who supported her completely. No, she admitted, I can't. Pause for relationship development. Can we talk about how they went from "you stole my baby" to co-parenting partners to catching feelings? If you're shipping them hard right now, smash that like button and subscribe, because their love story gets even better. They started spending more time together, not just for Elijah, but for themselves. Dinners after Elijah was asleep. Conversations that lasted hours. Shared looks that meant more than words. This is dangerous, Linda said one night. What is? This. Us. Getting close. We're co-parents. We should keep boundaries. Why? Because what happens if we try this and it doesn't work? We can't break up like normal couples. We have a child together. Forever. We'd have to see each other constantly. It would be complicated, I know, but Linda. He stepped closer. I think it's already complicated. I think we're already more than co-parents. And I think pretending otherwise is the real danger. Martin, 18. I care about you. Deeply. Not just as the mother of my child. As you. And I think you feel something too. I do. But I'm scared. Of losing this. Of ruining what we've built. So am I. But I'm more scared of never trying. They kissed tentative at first. Then deeper. Full of 6 months of repressed tension and growing feelings. When they broke apart, Linda whispered, "This is really complicated. Everything about us has been complicated from the start." True, why stop now? 1 year after Elijah's rescue, Linda and Martin were married. Not because of obligation, not because of their son, but because they'd fallen genuinely, impossibly, beautifully in love. The wedding was small. Isaiah was best man. James was there. Detective Brooks came. Even David the investigator attended. I object, Isaiah joked. My sister's too good for a mafia billionaire. Agreed, Martin said, but I'm working on deserving her. You better, or I'll fight you. And I just got a new heart, so I'm feeling ambitious. Everyone laughed, including Martin, the man who rarely smiled, now grinned constantly around Linda and Elijah. Sophia was released from psychiatric care 2 years later, heavily medicated, under strict supervision, remorseful in ways that seemed genuine. Linda met with her once. Against advice. Against logic. Why? Martin had asked. You don't owe her anything. I want closure. For both of us. The meeting was tense. I'm sorry, Sophia said immediately. For everything. I was sick. Am sick. That's not an excuse, but it's the truth. You stole my baby, almost destroyed my life. I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make amends. Though I know I never can. Why did you do it? Because I couldn't let go. Of Martin N. Of the life I thought we'd have. The baby was supposed to bring him back. Instead, it brought you together. She smiled sadly. Ironic. Do you want to see Elijah? Sophia looked shocked. You'd let me? No, never. But I wanted to know if you'd ask. I won't. He's not mine. He never was. He's yours and Martin's. A family built from my worst decisions. Sometimes good things come from bad situations. Then I'm glad something good came from this. Even if I'm not part of it. Linda left that meeting feeling finally, completely free. 5 years after Elijah's rescue, the Jerry Dalton family was thriving. Elijah was a bright, happy 5-year-old who knew he had 2 parents who loved him completely. Isaiah was healthy, finishing medical school, planning to specialize in cardiology. Linda was a nurse manager. Martin had transitioned his businesses toward legitimate operations. They had a daughter now, Sophia, named for redemption, not the ex-wife, born 2 years after the wedding. And another son on the way. You know what's funny? Linda said one evening, watching Martin play with their children. What? If Sophia's plan had worked the way she wanted, if you'd fallen for her manipulation, Elijah would have grown up in dysfunction. Instead, he got us. Got love. Got everything she tried to force, but we built naturally. She tried to manufacture a family. We became one despite her. Because of her, actually, in a twisted way. Don't give her credit for this. This is us, our choice, our love. True. Linda leaned against him. I'm glad we chose each other. Every day. I choose you every day. On Elijah's 10th birthday, he asked the question Linda had been dreading. Mom, how did you and Dad meet? Linda and Martin exchanged glances. That's a complicated story, Linda said carefully. I'm 10. I can handle complicated. All right, but it starts in a dark place and ends in a happy one. Promise you'll listen to the whole thing? Promise. So they told him. Age-appropriate version. The surrogacy. The fraud. The rescue. The slow build to love. So you weren't supposed to be together? Elijah asked. No, we were supposed to be strangers. But you're not strangers. No, we're family. Because of me? Because we chose to be. You brought us together. We chose to stay. Elijah thought about that. So even bad things can turn into good things? Sometimes, with work and love and choice, yes. Cool. Can I have cake now? They laughed. Let him go play. Sat together watching their children, their family, their impossible, beautiful, hard-won life. We made it, Linda said. We did. Think we'll make it another 10 years? I'll make it as long as you'll have me. Forever then. Forever. They kissed while their children played. The family that started in darkness now thriving in light. Because sometimes the worst situations lead to the best outcomes. Sometimes stolen babies become beloved sons. Sometimes victims become partners and become soulmates. And sometimes, just sometimes, love finds you in the most impossible, unexpected, beautiful way imaginable. So that's how Linda Dalton went from desperate surrogate to victim of fraud to mother to wife of a billionaire, all because she refused to give up on the baby she'd carried. She was exploited, manipulated, and legally stripped of her rights. But she fought back, found unlikely allies, and built a family from the ashes of trauma. This story proves that sometimes our worst moments lead to our best lives, that unconventional families are just as valid as traditional ones, that love real, complicated, hard-won love can grow from the most impossible circumstances, and that mothers will move heaven and earth for their children, no matter what the law or society says. What would you do if you gave birth and someone stole your baby? Fight? Give up? Hire a private investigator? Let me know in the comments. And if you love this story about surrogacy fraud, unlikely alliances, and a family built from chaos, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because I have more incredible stories of survival, love, and redemption coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the family you're meant to have is the one you have to fight for.